What if I told you that the most powerful move a man can make is not to fight for her, but to vanish, completely, without a single word? No arguments. No begging. No long explanations. No emotional closure. Just, gone. Would you believe that silence can be more deafening than the loudest scream? That walking away without warning can hit harder than any physical blow? This is not weakness. This is calculated strength. It's strategy. It's the mindset of men who understand their worth. Masculine men don't chase. They don't linger where they're no longer valued. They disappear, and in doing so, they shift all the power without saying a single word. We've been conditioned to believe that the right move is to explain ourselves, to show loyalty even when it's killing us, to fight for love even when the other person has stopped fighting entirely. The modern world wants men to be constantly available, endlessly accommodating, and always ready to justify their feelings. But here's the truth, real strength doesn't chase validation. It doesn't plead for attention. It becomes the storm, and then it disappears over the horizon, leaving only the echo of what it once was. I know a man who learned this the hard way. He gave her everything, his time, his loyalty, his heart, and his vulnerability. He listened to her when she cried. He showed up the moment she needed him. He forgave her every time she crossed the line. He thought love meant holding on through the pain, believing that persistence would eventually prove his worth. But then she walked away. She ghosted him, maybe even replaced him overnight. The breakup shattered him, not just because of the loss, but because of the betrayal. He realized that his love, no matter how pure, wasn't enough to make her stay. He realized that being the nice guy didn't earn him loyalty, it earned him abandonment. But then something shifted. He didn't send her a long message pouring out his feelings. He didn't beg for another chance. He didn't try to reason with her or win her back. Instead, he went silent. She expected tears. She got nothing. She expected a chase. He gave her distance. She expected to remain the prize. But suddenly, she was the one watching him fade out of her life. And that was when the balance of power changed completely. This wasn't a game. It was a principle. When you master silence, you discover that it can be more powerful than any argument. Anger is predictable. Pleading is predictable. Explaining is predictable. But silence, that's unsettling. Silence creates a vacuum in the mind, forcing the other person to fill in the blanks with their own thoughts, doubts, and regrets. When you say nothing, you leave them with their last memory of you exactly as you choose it, calm, controlled, untouchable. That stillness lingers. It haunts. It makes them wonder why you didn't react, why you didn't fight, why you didn't need them to hear your side. And then you stop explaining yourself altogether. Because here's the hard truth, every time you try to justify yourself to someone who has already decided to leave, you're lowering your value. You turn your dignity into a debate. People don't walk away because they forget your worth, they walk away because they're sure you'll keep trying to prove it. That's why they think they can come back whenever they want. But the man with standards doesn't live for clarity from people who broke his trust. He doesn't try to win back those who walked out. He accepts their choice and moves forward. This is where the shift happens. You stop orbiting her. You stop waiting for her attention. You stop caring what she thinks. And you step into the law of indifference, not pretending you don't care, but truly not caring anymore. This is the moment when you detach so fully that she can no longer influence your emotions. She may try to test you, pull away to see if you'll chase, poke at you to see if you'll react, but you don't move. You don't flinch. You don't bite the bait. That quiet, steady indifference is more powerful than any comeback you could ever say. And here's where most men go wrong. They think loyalty means staying no matter what. They confuse unconditional love with unconditional access. But you're not here to be her emotional safety net. You're not here to be her pet, begging for scraps of attention. You're here to be her mirror. And a mirror doesn't chase, it reflects. If she goes cold, you go colder. If she disrespects you, you pull away. If she disappears, you vanish. You show her her own behavior, not out of revenge, but out of self-respect. Because only when someone feels the consequences of their actions do they start to question them. And as you pull away, you begin to build your fortress. Her leaving doesn't destroy you, it gives you space. Space to rebuild. Space to sharpen yourself. Space to create a life so solid, so unshakable, that her absence feels irrelevant. You stop thinking about how to win her back and start thinking about how to win yourself back. The gym becomes your therapy. Your goals become your focus. Every ounce of pain becomes fuel for progress. You don't rise by talking about what happened, you rise by outgrowing it entirely. This is why you never break no contact. Every time you do, you reset the clock on your healing. You trade your progress for a moment of temporary comfort. She left for a reason. Your silence reminds her of that choice. Let her sit with it. Don't soften the impact. Don't make it easier for her. The space you leave behind is where regret grows. And if there's one truth in life, it's this: people value what they have to fight for, not what they can have anytime. And yes, they often come back. Sometimes it's weeks. Sometimes it's months. Sometimes it's years. But they always circle back when the silence gets too loud, when the new guy doesn't measure up, when they realize your presence wasn't ordinary, it was the standard. But here's the difference: by the time she comes back, you're no longer the man she knew. You've grown past her. You've evolved. You don't need to respond, not out of bitterness, but out of discipline. The chapter is closed. And that's when you disappear like a god. Not slamming the door. Not posting cryptic messages. Not playing games. You just fade out. You stop giving her access to your world, your thoughts, your life. You stop existing in her reality and start existing only in memory. And memory is dangerous. It has a way of rewriting the past, of making people question everything. She will replay moments in her mind. She will wonder if she made a mistake. She will wish she could undo it. But she can't. Because the man she lost isn't waiting for her. He's gone, not hiding, not punishing, just done. That's the final form of strength. Quiet. Complete. Unshakable. Masculine men don't chase. They don't beg. They don't explain. They disappear, stoically, silently, and forever.